That's the good half.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, what are you going to do then, right? Yeah. So. Right, yeah, no, that's fine. Good. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, yeah.
All set? All right. I'd like to call the regular city council meeting for Tuesday, February 6, 2024 to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. First item up, any additions or corrections to the agenda?
No, sir.
Seeing none, I'll move the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and second on the agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. First item up this evening is presentations, proclamations, and acknowledgements. Ms. Malika, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. As we start our 2023 audit, I'm here to bring a highlight from our 22 audit. I was notified about 2 weeks ago that we received our 27th consecutive Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Finance Officer Association for our 22 Annual Comprehensive Report. So it's the highest form of recognition in government accounting and reporting. To receive it, we must publish an easily readable and organized annual report that satisfies accounting principles and legal requirements. Our staff's done a great job with that in 22, and we anticipate the same in 23. And with that, any questions this evening?
Any questions for council?
Congratulations.
Nice work.
Just
Thank
simply acknowledging that award, long-standing for the community. And if anyone wants to see our financial report, where may they find that on our website?
They can go under the Finance Department, there's a tab for Finance Department, it's listed on there. Otherwise, they can call City Hall, and we keep a hard copy here if anybody wants to inspect that also.
Or ask Lucky, I bet.
Ask Lucky,
Ask
you are
Lucky.
correct.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's item 3. Next item up is response to public comment. Item 4, I don't believe we have any responses. I'm looking
Nope.
none to report this evening, so we'll move on to public comment. Anyone wishing to speak to the council on subjects not on the agenda this evening may do so. Simply step forward, state your name and address and your comment or question. The podium's open. All right, seeing no one making a mad dash for it, we will complete the public comment, close it, and move on to the consent agenda. So we have items 6A through L. Is there any items council would wish to pull?
G, please.
G? Okay. Any other ones?
None by me.
I would like to pull J and K, I believe. Yep, J and K. All right. So the consent agenda consists of the following: bill listings, minutes of the January 16th regular special meetings, the January 25th special meeting, donation acceptance from Minnesota Energy Resources to the Parks and Rec Department, appointment of the election judges for 2024. Item G, which we will be pulling liquor license amendment for Tops Tavern, the renewal of the Max Stenninger small-scale mineral extraction permit, Amberfield's 13th edition final plat, playground purchasing process for 2024, which is pulled for further information, lifetime facility accepting bids and awarding contracts, pulled for information, And then approval, project scope, authorize advertising for bids related to work at County Road 42 and Blaine Trunk Water Main. So with that, anyone wish to move the consent agenda with the items G, J, and K removed?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Essler, second by Klimpel. Roll, please.
Essler?
Aye.
Klimpel?
Aye.
Weisenthal?
Aye.
Reski?
Aye.
Consent agenda is approved 4-0. We'll pull up item 6G.
Yes, I pulled this agenda item. This is a request to transfer the liquor license of the current Tops Tavern. And I pulled this really just as informative for the public because there's been lots of, it's just known Tops Tavern is currently closing with the current owners. But the good news is we do have a Rosemount members who are going to be reopening on March 1st. And so this is just to point that out to the public that although the current owners are closing it, they did close it, I think it was last Saturday was the last day. It is reopening March 1st. Ms. Fassbender, can you tell us if it's going to be under the same name or will it be named different?
Yeah, my understanding at this time is it will be under the current name Tops Tavern. However, I know there is discussion to potentially have a name change, but at this point in time,
Okay.
their current liquor license will remain as Tops Tavern.
Thank you.
And so this action item tonight is simply to,
Transfer the licensee name to the, from the current ownership to the new ownership, which is standard procedure.
Yep.
okay, any other questions or comments from council? Would you like to move the motion, please?
Yep, I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution approving an amendment to Baja Properties LLC DBA Tops Tavern on sale liquor and Sunday license.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Fresky, second by Klimpel. Roll, please.
Klimpel?
Aye.
Weisenthal?
Aye.
Reski?
Aye.
Essler?
Aye.
And 6G is approved 4-0. Move to item J, the playground purchasing process for 2024. Mr. Schultz, would you like to share some information for our residents?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. So staff is requesting that we break away from what has become a bit of a norm for us as far as the playground purchasing process. Typically, we create a request for a proposal. We send that request for a proposal out to all of the local playground vendors in the Twin Cities with a set dollar amount. They all submit their bids to us. They all get one bid to submit, so it's one drawing. Usually comes on a 24 by 36 poster board, along with a book that has details on that submittal. That is their submittal. They can't alter it. They can't change it. If we let one vendor change it, we gotta let them all change it. So that is why we are asking this year for us to change a little bit in the way of process and how we are going to go out this year for proposals. What we are requesting is that for Camfield Park, we would go with their traditional model where we have a set dollar amount and we send that RFP out to all of the local vendors, and we take in, usually we get 6 or 7 playground companies that provide us with equipment proposals. We would then take that out to the neighborhoods, to our youth commission, park commission, and city council, and make a decision on who had the best proposal. What we are also proposing is that for the 2 new parks we're going to be working on this year, Dunmore and Tallamore, that we actually purchase the equipment through a purchasing cooperative, where all of the playground companies have already submitted bid prices and bid quotes to a company like Sourcewell, or maybe it's a state contract. And then what we do is we'll pick a company that we haven't worked with in a while, because that's the one other thing right now is we're getting a lot of equipment from the same vendor. It's not a bad thing that they keep winning our bids, but it's a little bit repetitive in what we're getting in some instances. And so we feel like there's a lot of good vendors out there we'd like to work with. We'd like to pick 2 vendors, one for Tullamore, a different one for Dunmore. And then what they do is they provide us with 3 or 4 drawings that are very different from their company. What that allows us to do then is openly negotiate with them. The RFP we're going to send them is still going to have a set dollar amount, just like the traditional RFP we use. But what it's going to do is it's going to allow us to, when they submit these 4 drawings, it's going to allow the neighbors to say, I like that slide better than that slide, and then they can switch them. I like this swing, family swing, where the parent sits and faces the child better than just a traditional belt swing. They can switch that out because we have that ability in that setting to have that negotiation back and forth. Currently, the process we use is when they drop off their submittal through a traditional program, that's the submittal. We feel like we're going to get a little more creativity and that the neighborhood is going to have a little bit more input on what they end up getting. We heard that from some of the folks from Claret Park, and we heard a couple comments from folks at Biscayne Park where, they looked at a proposal from Company A, and they really liked Company C's proposal, but they really liked that piece of equipment from Company A. And they would always say, well, can we get that piece of equipment in this proposal? And we would say, we can't do that. We can't open it up to let them redesign all the playgrounds. If we go with this purchasing from a co-op, we'll have the ability to do that. They'll have 4 different drawings or 3 different drawings in front of them, and they'll be able to say, well, we like, because they're all coming from the same company in this new, purchasing from a Sourcewell or someone like that, they'll be able to take and pick and choose the pieces they like best for what fits inside of our budget. And the budgets will be pretty healthy this year. I know we've set aside enough money to get them nice playground systems. But we feel like it will be a little bit more custom to what that neighborhood is interested in versus us just saying, you got to pick one of these 5. You might not like portions of it or pieces of it, but you had to pick one of the 5. Now they'll be able to kind of build their own system through a cooperative purchasing agreement.
Great.
So that's why we're looking at that opportunity this time.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any questions or comments, council? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and move the motion to approve the proposed playground purchasing plan for 2024 as submitted by staff to use a traditional RFP process for Campfield Park and to issue a single source purchasing process for Tullamore and Dunmore Parks.
I'll second.
Motion by Weisensell, second by Fresky. Roll, please.
Weisensell.
Aye.
Fresky.
Aye.
Essler.
Aye.
Semple.
Aye.
That completes item 6J 4-0, and then we'll move to 6K for a follow-up. Mr. Schultz.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, members of council, give me just 1 second to pull this up. All right. So we are asking the city council tonight to accept bids and award contracts for a handful of bid items that originally either came in over budget, that were rejected, and or we did not get any bids in the first time around we went out for bids. So tonight we have the millwork and fixture install. We have the interior artificial plants, we have exterior athletic equipment, and we have the athletic court surfacing for the outdoor pickleball courts. And so those, you can see where those projects were budgeted. I think all of them except maybe one came in, I think $1,000 over, but we're saving money, quite a bit money on the athletic exterior slab. We're saving money on the court surfacing, and then also saving money on the millwork and fixture install. And then the interior artificial plants is just, it looks like about $1,000 over what budget was on that. So I think by recognizing early on that we went over on some of these, rejected those bids, and then now we're back out looking at either we tweaked it a little bit or we went back out to bid, reached out to more vendors to get them to bid on our project. I think we came back with better numbers on that.
That looks good.
Yeah.
Be able to do
Yep.
that. Questions from council? Anything on this? A little transparency to the lifetime project that's going on. We have an additional action item further on our report,
Yep.
so this is in addition to that, so.
Yep.
So with that, unless there's no other comments, I'll move to recommend.
Just real quick, nothing to do with really on anything, and I know this is a really petty question, but as part of the process, we had talked about the shamrocks.
Yep.
Where are we at
We're
with the
still
shamrocks?
working on that. We've got a couple ideas that I've shared with our project executive, Brent Marlowe, from Lifetime.
You haven't forgot about them?
No, they're very well aware of them. I think whenever we have our Thursday meetings, it gets brought up and talked about. We've also talked about the potential of a plaque maybe inside the building, or, also the shamrocks in the concrete somewhere. We haven't poured any of the exterior walk-ups or anything like that, so,
Okay.
yeah.
That's why I'm asking now,
Yep.
to make sure that you guys
Yep,
are.
still working on it.
Still working on it.
Yeah, we're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Most likely the stamped concrete and a plaque, but
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, we'll move the motion to recommend the city council accept the bids and award contracts to the lowest responsible bidder for the millwork fixture install, interior artificial plants, exterior athletic PT slab, and the athletic court surfacing bids detailed in the letters of recommendation submitted by the construction manager. Is there a second?
Second?
Motion by Weisenfeld, second by Essler. Roll, please.
Essler?
Aye.
Limpel?
Aye.
Weisenthal?
Right.
Breske?
Aye.
And that completes 6K 40, and completes all of the consent agenda items. We'll move on to item 7, public hearings. This evening we'll have a public improvement hearing for the 2024 Street Improvement Project, City Project 2024-01. We're going to, I think, before we open up, have a short presentation. Am I correct on that? As we get the,
Trying to get it pulled up here, Mr. Mayor.
okay. So Mr. Erickson will provide that information, and then we will reopen the hearing. That was
Less permanent than stamped concrete.
recessed, I guess would be the best word for it, from the last meeting to reopen now. Take final comments and then action.
Let's just try yours.
So while they're working through that, Mr. Martin, do you have anything to share maybe on city staff updates? Jumping ahead on the agenda at the prerogative of the mayor?
That is an audible. I didn't actually have much tonight. It's one of those weeks where there's not. We're looking forward to the Community Expo on March 2nd, so folks have seen branding for that. Looking at a new angle for the expo this year where it's a bit more community themed than just simply focused on kind of home and business exposure. So we've got Genesis Jazz, which is an arm of the Rosemount Community Band, playing some live jazz. We've got some seminars happening throughout the day. A build your own coffee flight is one of the things to learn about throughout the day. And so continue to look forward to March 2nd is a big one on the list. And then we're voting right now. We're getting ready for Super Tuesday, right? So lots going on, but I didn't have much. And I think we filibustered long enough for Mr. Erickson. There you go. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We'll
bet.
move back to Mr. Erickson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, and Mr. Martin for the filibuster there, filler
welcome.
time, so thank you. I have an abbreviated version of the presentation from last week, and I'm going to go through a couple screens real quick. You've seen them already. They're not surprises. Again, just a map of the area. It does show the pavement condition index on each of those streets. Here's the planned or proposed improvements, so mostly street work with a little bit of work on spot curb and gutter repair, some utility work with the castings and adding a couple hydrants, and then of course restoration for residents' property. Again, pretty standard street project, so large equipment, lots of noise, dust, potentially mud, and then of course, you know, staking and that kind of thing on folks' yards. Wanted to touch base on the public engagement maybe just a little bit more. So we have 2 phases there. I did a little modification, and again, you can see a photo of the web page there. But so we did have a neighborhood meeting on the 6th of December, lightly attended, so we sent another mailing out. And then, of course, we had the public hearing a few weeks ago. To date, we've heard from 26 separate property owners, and I have to apologize. I understood one of the attachments I added in the council packet with the highlighted columns on the left side with red and purple and orange, but they are related to each of the different meetings or where we've gotten those comments from. So red was from the neighborhood meeting, the purple was from the mailing, and then the orange would have been from the public hearing. So, and then just wanted to touch base real quick for construction phase. Of course, we'll do weekly website updates. Those are kind of a 2-page PDF that people will get a link to. We'll do the notify me again, where that pushes to either an email or a text. And then you can click on a link in there and it brings you to the website for the project. And then we're looking at potentially a few spots where we can maybe put a mailbox or something like that for some hard copies, and people can just swing by that mailbox if they don't want to use electronic means. Of course, we'll monitor that to make sure that we're not just changing paper each week, and if people are actually using them. So again, it's a little hard to read. I would call it an eye chart, but there's really no text here. And again, I tried to show where the comments have come from, and you can see really a majority of them have come from 153rd, 154th Street to the east of Claret. So, and then so here's the comments that we've received to date, and I won't touch base on the left side there because those were discussed as part of the previous presentation, but just a couple things for additional information on the right side. So we did get some complaints about speeding or inattentive driving, so being reviewed by Public Works and the police department. So we'll look at, we have ways of checking speeds out there and seeing if the speed limit's appropriate, for example. There was a question about parking restrictions, and there's no changes planned for any new no parking or getting rid of any no parking that's existing. So I know there were at least 2 residents that contacted me about potential drainage changes. So if it makes sense and it's adjacent to the work, we'll look at that. However, I do know one of those was across their backyard on the opposite side from where the street work would be. So it's unlikely we would be able to address that, just because part of that as well was caused by the residents who had landscaping, took landscaping out, made some changes themselves. So the assessment question always comes up, doesn't matter whether it's the improvement hearing or not. And of course, that hearing is coming up on the 16th of April. So we'll address that with more information there. The street removals, I know there were a number of comments on that at the last meeting. I believe Councilmember Fresky had a pretty good tally running as to thumbs up and or mostly thumbs down on that one. So again, the preference appears to be from the public to not have those street segments removed. The private utility improvements, so I do know that one of the residents had made a comment at the last meeting just asking about that. Interestingly enough, I got a phone call or an email the next day from one of the internet service providers just asking about, can we come in, what do we need to do if we're able to bring our service through this neighborhood. So I actually have a meeting tomorrow morning with them. So
Perfect.
And then the last one is just some parking near Claret Park. I know that was one of the questions. So I do have our project manager from TKDA who is here, Larry Poplar, And so Larry was able to put together some information on that. So we can probably get about maybe 8 cars, maybe 9 spaces on the east side of Claret along the park area there without having to do a whole lot of work in that area. So it would add a little bit to the project cost, probably around $25,000 to $35,000 to add some parking along there. It would widen that area out. I do want to say that I know there were concerns about speeding, and so there were also concerns about the fact that people are parking on both sides of the street, which actually helps reduce speeding because people slow down because it gets much narrower through the corridor. So it's kind of the catch-22, which one do people want? So, and of course, I would say as well, we could request bids for that parking area as an alternate item on the project. So, again, just touching base on cost and assessment, what those numbers are. So just a little bit under $2 million for this project. Of that, 600,000 and change is being assessed, and then the rest of it comes out of primarily the general fund with some from the utility funds. And then finally, the project schedule, which again, I did highlight the assessment hearing just to note that for anybody in the audience and for council that right now is planned for April 16th. And with that, I will conclude my presentation and answer any questions that council may have.
Are you able to keep up your last slide there? There we go. Yeah. Any questions or comments from council?
So just clarifying, is the plan then to not do the street closures? Or are you looking for us to give you direction on that this evening?
I sense from council that you're probably leaning with the public. I would like some clear direction on that, just to confirm.
So if we were to move that route, which I kind of think by the heads nods, maybe we would go that way, do you have any idea how that would impact your estimate?
So the estimate that was shown,
Yep.
that includes keeping those streets in place.
Oh, it does?
It
Okay.
does, yep. So it doesn't change the number that's there estimate-wise.
Okay, thank you.
And you mentioned a nominal additional cost for the parking on the east side of Claret. Would that go into the assessment, or would that be maybe a kind of a separate billing?
Generally, when we have those street costs, which that would be a street or a surface cost, those do become part of the assessment amount. And so that would be 35% of that cost. We do a straight 35% from the surface cost. And again, like I said, we can do that we could potentially do that as an ad alternate on the bid, get a price for it, and then decide at award time
That
whether
makes
or not to
sense.
do
Yep.
that.
I would do that as an alternate. I think it's fine.
Yep, so looking at my notes from 3 weeks ago, the last council meeting, couple questions. Can you go back to the slide that has the assessment calculation? Yep, oh, you had it there.
I have one, it's hidden. I can actually pull the one that had that assessment number, so bear with me.
You just had it, I
You had it.
Oh, he's got a.
No,
he's got a-
he's talking about
a-
the actual assessment, the
additional
proposed,
detailed one.
proposed assessment.
Sorry.
I think that's what Brian's bringing
slide 8.
That one, yep.
Yeah.
up. Okay.
Okay, so help me with the math. The assessments are showing 615,000. The total cost is 2 million. 35% of 2 million
That's right.
would be 700,000 versus the 615. So
That-
where am I off?
The utility fund portion of that. So that, if you look over to the left side where the street improvements are, that 1.5 million, not quite, that's where that 35% comes from.
Oh, so you're just adding the general fund and the assessments to total? That,
Based on the street-related.
Yes.
the 1478.
The 41, the 50, and the 140.
Okay, so the 1478 times 35% is the 615. Good, okay, got it. All right, thank you. there was discussion about 155th Street. I drove over there. I don't see that that should be part of this project, but I think I'd asked, where is that ranked, or how is it indexed in the master plan?
So I pulled this up.
Green's
from-
good, long
from
time down the road?
From this one, it's, so right now, those numbers, I calculated the number, I got the number for the full length, the calculated number for that entire segment is about 75. So give or take 20 points higher than any of the other streets in the neighborhood.
Okay, but it's green, so that means it's probably not.
It's
gonna
in
be-
good condition.
It's good
is where
condition,
we-
and again, driving over it, I mean, much better than the ones you're doing.
I'll just chime in a
Oh.
little bit there, if I could. Council member, 70 is generally considered very good, and that's our overall city system goal to have
Okay,
the rating is 70 or higher.
okay. Got it. Okay. There was questions about the sidewalk. I think we also gave direction that it's really tough to put a sidewalk in after the fact. So I think you guys that's been addressed. That's not gonna be
Yeah,
in the plan?
we don't have any plans to add any sidewalk. We'll correct the ramps at the corners, so
Yep.
bring them up to the current ADA standards.
Yep, okay. And then were you saying, Mayor, the Claret Park bump out, the 8 to 9 cars, that you're considering that, like, thinking of having that do as an alternate?
Yeah, just treat that as an ad alternate.
Yeah.
So that we can review that.
Yeah, okay. And then you mentioned one of the ISPs is looking at possibly coordinating with the project. Who was that?
Is that a,
Oh, can we
is
not-
that a name we want? I mean, I can give it out.
Yeah,
It's
I-
MetroNet
Yep.
is who's looking at that. That's who I'm meeting with tomorrow morning.
Okay. Was there any other utilities that are in? 'Cause
We haven't-
the
we haven't
residents
heard
raised the
anything.
question, as long as you guys are down, digging under there, is there any other opportunities to address any of the other utilities?
Yeah, we haven't heard of anything. I mean, we'll reach out again to talk to those utilities and just see
Okay.
if there's anything in the neighborhood.
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, with that then, we'll open up the podium for reopening the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this may do so. State your name and address. I would say that if we have received a fair amount of comments, and so we're not looking for a repeat of those, but if you have something different to share, we'll certainly listen to that. Podium's open. Going once. They like dead air on the cable, I'm sure. Going twice. Anyone else? All right, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing at this time. Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is closed. All right, so we'll move back to the action then. Any other questions for staff? Seeing none, would someone like to move the recommended action?
I could make a motion to adopt a resolution ordering the 2024 Street Improvement Project, City Project 2024-01, and authorizing final preparation of plans and specifications and authorization to bid.
I'll second.
Motion by Essler, second by Fresky. Roll, please.
Weisenthal.
Aye.
Breske.
Aye.
Essler.
Aye.
Lemple.
Aye.
Item 7A, 4-0, completed. Thank you. Appreciate it, staff. There is no unfinished business this evening. We'll move on to item 9, new business, Lifetime Facility Project Update and Change Order 3. Mr. Schultz.
All right, Mr. Mayor and council members, I am gonna try and pull up. Well, we're good right now, but we are doing very well on the project out at the Lifetime site. We are on schedule. Everything has been going well so far. We are looking to finish up and complete
Dan,
everything.
Did you
You
want
got
to
it
use
if you
your
need it,
computer?
Dan.
I
No,
did
I'm
talk
good now.
about it.
I don't
Okay.
need it yet.
I apologize.
We'll look at your tent.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. So we are in the process of completing a lot of the internal work on the site. I know in the weekly report last week, Mr. Martin did include a number of photographs that showed what was happening with the building. If you've driven by the site, you can tell that the building has now been enclosed, so we have heat inside of the building. In the next week or two, the goal is to get the the pouring done for the floors. Also, we're working on a lot of the things like the cold plunge, I'd say, for example, getting that poured in the near future. The pools are pretty much complete on the inside and the outside. The pickleball court lights are up on the outside, and the building is really starting to take shape. And so being over there I think it was last Thursday when Mr. Martin and I were there to visit, the site looks clean, it looks good. We were up on the second floor now that they got the rough flooring in, and it looks great. I can just imagine people bustling around that building. It looks like I thought it would look. It looks big on that second floor. I mean, when you see the whole thing laid out, it looks great. So we are happy to be able to report that things are going well over there. With me tonight is Brent Marlowe. He is the project executive. Brent has a lot of time to swing by the project since he does live here in town. And so he's over there quite a bit to get eyes on it and make sure everything is going as planned. I did want to talk a little bit about the change orders that we have here tonight. I'm just letting my phone catch up here to where we're at. And we are looking at a handful of change orders that are coming forward. So the big ones I do want to talk about, there's a couple small ones that are listed in the executive summary. So we've got, first, the foundation changes. We had a pipe interfering with the foundation, a stormwater pipe, which we had to adjust. We had erosion that kept happening out at the site for our stormwater pond, so we had to do some additional riprap. And then we had to do a little bit of additional road removal out on Akron Avenue from our entrance. The next handful, there's next 4 change orders are actually not changes to the overall budget. These items have all been budgeted. What happened was we bid these items out and we could not find companies to come in and give us bids for these projects. So what we did is we worked with existing contractors and got pricing from those contractors that are already on site working. They've already mobilized. We got pricing that's well within our budget. And so those are for the granite supply and install, the joint treatment at the pavers, outdoor play surface, which is for the outdoor play area for the children. We have an artificial turf area on the east side of the building that has covers, like our playground canopy covers over it, so when the kids can go outside and play, they're sheltered. And then the outdoor court surfacing, we finally got a good bid from someone on that after we've had a couple that, I think early on, we had a bid that came in where they didn't have all their paperwork in, their bid was incomplete, they chose not to rebid, and so we were able to find a bidder to provide us with a bid on that. The last Bulletin 1 plan revision changes, the main change there is that Lifetime is recommending that we change the indoor large court surface from basketball to pickleball. They're seeing this on a lot of their clubs, and they're seeing this across the country, where pickleball is becoming so popular that it's one of the #1 demands at their club systems around the country, especially in the upper Midwest. And they feel like because we're a climate-driven type, recreation space, where having an indoor opportunity is going to be a great benefit to the community. What they've also done is they've also adjusted in the children's area away from one of the tumbling rooms, and they're converting that to a second indoor youth basketball court. So it's more of a multi-purpose court. So if they do need it for tumbling, they have the pads, the mats they can lay down, but they feel like they have a little more flexibility with programming by doing this. There's also, as you can see in the attachment, there's also a handful of other changes, smaller changes to some electrical, to some lighting. Lifetime is always looking at trying to put the best product out there for their members to get access to. And so that's why you're seeing some of these changes coming forward. I know there was a question about, I don't know, can you guys see that on your?
Yep.
Okay, so there was question about when in the future, once the project is complete, when and how will Lifetime make changes or request to make changes, being that the city is the owner of the building? So this is the exact language out of our lease agreement, and it's around capital improvements. This is not about replacing carpet. This is not about replacing, dryer units in the bathrooms, things like that. This is about structural and large improvements, anything costing over $50,000. We will be meeting on a regular basis with the team out there at the Lifetime in Rosemount. And we will be talking about capital improvements, just like we do here at the city. Things that they see that they think need to be changed, updated, or looked at on a careful basis. And so we'll be doing that on a regular basis. What we will be requesting is a capital improvement budget from them. Maybe not a 10-year, but maybe more of a 5-year capital budget. And then they will need to get written permission from the city to make those changes. And the intent that's written in this language is that, the purpose of this facility is to provide community recreation and fitness facilities. So if they want to come in and for some reason they feel like it's within the best interest of their operations to, throw a furniture sales office in the corner of the building, there's a good chance we're probably going to come back with a no to that request. Again, we want it to be for community recreation and fitness. And so with that being said, I know there was a question asked about that. And to be transparent about what the plan is, anything over $50,000, we will need to give them written permission to do that. And that would something we would come back to council to get that approval. And so I just wanted to cover that as a question about what's happening in the future with the facility.
And just to reconfirm, those costs are borne by the tenant, correct?
They are, as are the maintenance costs. So if they decide that the maintenance, or they don't like the color of the walls, then that's on their dime to fix and replace or repair those items.
Appreciate bringing that up. I think it brings transparency so residents can see. I think staff has crafted a real good agreement for our residents here.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or comments for Mr. Schultz?
Now, can I back up one second?
Yes, you can back up.
I have found my
Pictures.
pictures.
Pictures
I
are.
knew I had them on here. So this first one is just obviously an aerial photograph. You see this going west on 42 or east on 42. This is showing the building being enclosed, ready for that temporary heat to be in there and to start with some of the improvements. This next picture is looking sort of northwest a little bit. This is of one portion of the pool. The foundations and the footings for the water slides and all that are in large sonnet tubes out there on site. So this is really starting to take shape. This next photograph, you can see the lights for the pickleball courts, and then also a small edge of the pool there. Obviously this is still in a very rough condition. we'll be putting everything else for this improvement for the pickleball in the spring. This is what the inside of the building looks like, as far as the large area that's near the pool. There's a lot of piping, a lot of sewer, water, things like that in this building, and so these are definitely still under construction. You can see that by the piles of dirt, the trenches, but it's starting to take shape. This is another view from the main floor. This is probably standing a little over, maybe halfway into the southern portion of the building, so you can see the size of the building is impressive. And this is the building that I was mentioning, the picture I was mentioning, excuse me, of the second floor. It's a little hard to see because of the glare from where the future pickleball courts will be and some of the draping they have there, but you can see that this is a large space. I also have gotten updated diagrams, if anyone is interested in seeing those after the meeting, or I can email them to you, of what the layouts will look like, where, every piece of gym equipment will go. I have all that. So it's really exciting to start seeing how the building is starting to take shape. Just looking to see if I had anything else. I think that is it for now. And if there's questions, I'll definitely try and answer those. And if we need, I can put Brent to work and get him to help out too.
So as of today, what is the opening looking like? What are you
I'll tell you that the Lifetime folks gave me these really impressive, detailed timelines. I mean, down to, you can look at everything, when they're gonna put toilets in, when they're gonna drop this. We're looking at finishing it up in December.
Yes, with opening in January.
25, yep, so
Awesome.
finish in December, crank it open in January, and if those timelines, I think it took them about 4 days to make those timelines. I think they're 4 pages long.
Oh, I'm
But
sure.
I hope it didn't put them behind schedule, but it's impressive to see how detailed those are. And then the first thing I did, Councilmember Fresky, is I looked right to the last line to see, what does that say? Because, it's a lot that goes into these, and the detail that goes into one of these clubs is impressive. And so I did check it. It said on substantial completion in December of '24. Open the doors in early January of '25.
Awesome, thank you.
With the transition of that one indoor court from basketball to pickleball, and the history that we've had in this town with despair over court space,
Yeah.
can you talk a little bit about will this affect our residents who have their children in youth sports programs, et cetera, and what does the loss of that court mean?
Yeah, so I think the idea behind this court space was always to be focused on membership users. And so I think when we talk about children, they're getting another space to use with families, and it's going to be family focused. I think now that, Hope Fieldhouse is up and running, we've got court space there that is new since we've even started talking about this project. We've got the new Fieldhouse, I'll call it Activity Center, coming to Rosemount High School with several courts is going to be a big impact. We've also got the new middle school that is being planned and designed right now, which is going to be another positive to our community. And then we're also going to have another elementary school. So I think right now, I don't want to speak on behalf of any of the basketball or volleyball or court users in town, but I would think that we're a lot better off than we were 5 years ago. Just knowing that the high school is getting several courts, and then with Hope Fieldhouse in the schools. So I think we're going to be all right. The nice thing about this is that the pickleball court space and the former basketball area is being built so it has the flexibility of someday going back to that. Now, I know with Lifetime, the city administrator, Martin, and I have talked a lot about, following trends and trying to stay present with what's really needed at a facility like the Lifetime facility. And so we think pickleball is going to be fantastic, but in 10 years from now,
Who knows?
I don't know. Is it gonna be, are they gonna be putting racquetball courts back in? You know, who knows? And so I think the nice thing is that Lifetime stays up on the trends and stays up on what's kind of forefront on people's minds when it comes to health and fitness, when it comes to their club. So I think we're in good hands by working with them on this.
All right, thanks.
Just one clarifying question, because I'm maybe getting confused with our new park coming on Akron, but this will also have outdoor pickleball courts too, correct? So it'll now be both indoor and outdoor?
Yes, those are the one of the photos that showed all the exterior.
The outdoor lights.
Okay.
That's the court lighting. So it's adjacent to the outdoor pool.
I don't know, Council,
Got it,
Make it
perfect.
feel so resorty.
yes. I don't know if
And I know you're reticent to jump up to the podium and talk, but could I have you come up to the podium? I would like to just recognize Lifetime, someone in the construction industry. I recognize what a clean site looks like, and I appreciate what your firm has done in being able to basically black in the site to reduce the amount of mud and stuff that usually comes out of a construction site on the site. So I did want to publicly have you, be acknowledged for that type of best practice, I guess.
Yeah.
In that. So.
Yeah, that was something we definitely was front of mind when we broke ground, was to get asphalt in this fall before the plants closed, so that it would not track mud, and just a cleaner site all around.
Yeah, and appreciate that for our community, and certainly for our public works, not having to run around and try to clean up something like that and get into those kind of issues of, that, so.
I don't know.
It is just the base course that's down, and then we'll come in and bring the wear course, so it'll all be fresh and clean when we
Yep.
open up.
I don't know, Mayor and Council, if you can see the site plan on the screen right now, is that showing on there?
Yep.
You can see Councilmember Fresky where the 4 pickleball courts are located, kind of to the, it's to the southwest side of the site. And then, I don't know, you can see all the chairs. Do you recall how many chairs are gonna be on this deck?
It's a couple hundred, I don't know the exact number
Yeah,
off the top of my head.
it's a lot. And so this is the outside layout of what's,
A lot of lush landscaping, that's one thing that our CEO and founder is big on, not having small day one plantings, but being lush landscaping for members and public when the place opens, and not waiting for 5 years for it to grow.
Could you go back to to that and just help residents see from that picture, kind of orientate them a little bit? Where is Akron, Connemara, 42?
Akron Avenue, on this photograph, Akron Avenue would be to your left.
Okay,
Connemara would be north, and then 42 would be south, and the club is adjacent. It's not shown in this picture, but the club is just to the right of this, the most right portion of the screen here. And then I can show you real quick what the most updated site plan here looks like. This is the 3 pickleball courts. They've added, this is really hard to see, obviously,
Yeah.
at this point, but it's really something where, they've done a great job with the detail. And I will share this with the council here in a little bit, probably on a hard copy, blown up a little bit. But it's just great to see all the equipment and all the treadmills and things that they're going to have in this location. It's going to be a great facility. We're looking forward to getting it opened.
Councilmember?
Can you go to the picture that has the enclosed, the picture that you had up of the enclosed building?
The photograph?
Yeah, the photograph, yep.
Now you're really testing me. Where did I have that? Let's see, was that?
I think that's your PowerPoint.
Yes, thank you. This one?
Yeah, so that's the picture of the outside, so I'm assuming then over on the right side is where the big panel with the big shamrock is? 'Cause you can't see it on
No one can't see.
No, totally kidding. The other thing I'd like to call out, I think it's really cool, we talk about the hometown feel, and the mayor mentioned that, Brent, or you mentioned that Brent, he's a Rosemount guy, you know, two of the two biggest construction, well, no, two of the biggest construction projects right now. It's kind of cool. You got Brent, who's kind of is the project executive in the Lifetime, and then on the flip side of the Public Works and Police building, the lead project manager on that is also a Rosemount guy. So it's really cool. You know, you got KA, big contractor. You got Lifetime. I mean, you got these large businesses, large corporations that are, you know, doing work in our community. But who's leading it? Leading the two jobs, and they're both Rosemount residents. I love that.
Yeah,
I think that's really cool.
And just to note, some of our subcontractor project managers also live in Rosemount.
That's got to be so fun for them, right?
Right, exactly. A lot of site visits.
They just roll out of bed and show up. Right?
Yeah, just drive 4 blocks away. But I just think that's really cool. And like I said, it's just another example of that hometown feel. We've got our hometown residents building these jobs for us. That's awesome.
All righty, with that then, if there's no other comments, would someone like to move the motion to the recommended action?
I'll move to approve change order number 3 for the Lifetime facility as detailed in the attached documents.
Second.
I have a motion by Klimpel, second by Essler. Roll, please.
Reski?
Aye.
Essler?
Aye.
Klimpel?
Aye.
Weisenthal?
Aye. That completes 9A, 4-0 approved. That completes 9. We'll move to announcements under 10. Anything additional under city staff updates?
I'm good, Mayor, thank
Kind
you.
of hit that. And any comments from council? Any announcements you want to share?
Well, I will add, I know I don't to steal your thunder, but to the upcoming dates, the Leprechaun Days half bingo event is next Saturday, February 17th at the Rosemount Banquet Hall. And you can go to leprechaundays.org to pre-purchase your packets or show up at the door. Doors open at 3.
All righty. Any other? If not, I will move to the upcoming calendar. So on February 13th, we'll have the Environmental and Sustainability Commission meeting from 5:30 to 6:30 here at City Hall. The City Hall will be closed down for President's Day observance on February 19th, Monday all day. And we will have a Port Authority on Tuesday, February 20th from 6 to 7, followed by the City Council meeting when we next get together, February 20th, 7 to 8 p.m. So with that, unless there's anything else coming for council, seeing none, I'll move to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made to adjourn the meeting. We will reconvene for the work session back in the conference room. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.